Today's lesson deals with the area of parallelograms and trapezoids. So even your note sheet by accident says triangles on it, this is the correct lesson and notes page, parallelograms and trapezoids. And what we're going to do is build the formulas today to find the area of each. Probably a little bit better if we were all here together, but since we're not able to be here, we got to keep moving. Just work with me and stay with me as I build this formula for you. And please feel free to answer along as we go. This will help you understand the concepts better. So this is a parallelogram. And I want you to think of the parallelogram, okay? Think of one side of it, excuse me, as a right triangle. So what we're going to do, I have a really nice smartboard tool here where I can go ahead and cut off one of those right triangles, and I'm then going to fit it right onto the other side of my shape. And you take a look at it, we made a rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to write that up for you. So a parallelogram is basically a reorganized rectangle. So the way to find the area of it is the same way to find the area of a rectangle. We just do base times height. Okay, definitions here, kind of important, guys. Okay, the base of a parallelogram is the length of any side of that parallelogram, okay? Any side can be the base, then the height is the perpendicular distance between the base and its opposite sides. What that means is that the height will form right angles at either end, okay? Perpendicular tells us that. So if we want to say that these two sides right here are the bases, we can do that, okay? They're parallel to each other. Then the height, even though it goes across, is right here because it forms right angles, okay, at either base. So you can choose whatever base you want, okay, as long as the height then is the distance between the two. Do not just automatically assume that height is going up and down. So just base times height for it. That one's pretty easy. Trapezoid's a little more involved. Okay, stay with me here. Again, imagine we're all together. We could stop, for questions. It might be a little smoother. Okay, but I'm going to show you guys two trapezoids. You know what they look like. There you go. Now what we're going to do is take those two trapezoids and push them together. Okay, again, I have my cool smartboard tool where I can do this. And take a look at the shape we created. Okay, looks like I'm a little bit off on this. How I did it. Let me move it up a little, just a little more together. That looks pretty accurate. Check the shape out. That looks familiar. We just went over it. It's a parallelogram. And area of a parallelogram, remember, it's just base times height. So you may be thinking, well, that's what we got to do for a trapezoid, right? Is base and height. There's more to it. Okay, think of that base. Okay, think of this, right? Here's one base all together. We formed it, though, by pushing two trapezoids together. Same with the top. So we've got two bases, all right? So we've got base 1 plus base 2, which formed that parallelogram base. So base 1 and base 2. But a trapezoid, though, all right, well, for that parallelogram, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, would just be base times height, but that base is broken apart. So right now we've got base 1 plus base 2, whatever that is, times the height. But now, it's a trapezoid we're looking for. So we got to cut that in half because a trapezoid is half of a parallelogram. So our trapezoid area is half of base 1 plus base 2, that quantity put together. All that times the height. Vocab again here are bases of a trapezoid. Okay, those are the two parallel sides. Okay, so that's right here. And again, the height is the distance between those two bases, the perpendicular distance. So right there. And again, our trapezoid can be turned on its side, so don't automatically assume that's the vertical distance, okay? It's just distance between the two bases. Let's go ahead and put those formulas to work. All right, let's find the area of that parallelogram. Well, the key here is knowing what the height is. Okay, remember it's the perpendicular distance, so it's right there. So the area is base times height, which we can sub in as 10 times 4. So the area here is going to be 40 square feet. Labels, always important. Now we've got a trapezoid. So again, we'll start with our formula. Area equals the sum of the bases times the height. Oh yeah, we're going to take half that, don't we? So we've got 1/2 times 14 plus 17 is 31. I'll just write that up for the time being. And then our height is 6. So we've got 1/2 times 31 times 6. What's nice with multiplication, boys and girls, we can do it in any order we want. We know that. So I'm going to go ahead and take start by taking half of 6. Okay, so the area is going to equal 3 times 31. Again, let's multiply these two together first, because it's nice and easy to do mentally. Then 3 times 31 is 93. So we've got 93 square feet. So chugging and plugging using our formulas. Now let's extend our knowledge just a little bit, just because we're an advanced class and we can do this. Back to that first parallelogram we saw. What we're going to do, though, we are going to find the different area, the different part of the shape. So we take off that right triangle, okay? Pretend it's gone. We're left with a trapezoid.
After school.
So now we're going to find the area of that trapezoid. Well, we've got one of the bases here as 10. We've got our height as 4. We don't have this part down here, which we've got to find. So we go back to our other part of the shape, which is a right triangle. Now we should know from Pythagorean theorem, if our hypotenuse is 5 and one leg is 4, the other leg has to be 3. Okay, and since the entire base is 10 up there, these are parallel. And in the parallelogram, we got the same size, okay, the same length. So we've got 7 left over here, okay, for a total base of 10. So for our trapezoid, we can go ahead and cross this back out. We've got bases of 10 and 7 and a height of 4. We can now solve this problem. So the area is going to equal 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2 times the height. So we've got 1/2. We've got our bases of 10 and 7 and our height of 4. Again, we can go any order we want, so I'm going to go ahead and do 1/2 times 4 to give us 2. 10 plus 7 is 17. 2 times 17 equals 34. What's that unit of measure? We've got feet. 34 square feet. This concludes your lesson over trapezoids and parallelograms.